When it rains, it pours here in Washington, D.C. And of course, the Washington Nationals in last night's game came back from down 3-0. And then they dropped it in the 10th. And guys, I'm getting tired of it.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, while you're at it, make sure to search up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, including over on YouTube, and hit that subscriber button. Please drop a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you want. I'm happy with it because we are not too happy about that Nationals loss yesterday. So later on in today's show, we do have a preview of tonight's game as you have MacKenzie Gore going up against his old team with the San Diego Padres. And of course, MacKenzie Gore, last time he went to San Diego, just last summer, he did pretty damn well. We'll have that preview for you a little bit later on, as it was supposed to be Yu Darvish, but he was scratched from the start today. So we'll have that preview a little bit later on in today's show. And of course, today's a frustrating day. It's very frustrating, as we all know. So let's have a venting hour. In the second segment, I got 5 things that frustrate the crap out of me about this Nationals team. And yes, this team has been fun to watch, but ultimately, there have been some just wild moments where I am just like, what is going on? So I've got my 5 frustrations. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. You can drop a comment in the YouTube comment section or tweet at me at RyanClary11. That'll be in the second segment of today's show. But we start off with discussing last night's just awful loss, if we're just being honest here. It was bad. You don't want to go into any Tuesday like this. But of course, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. And let's just get into it, because yesterday's loss was one of those days where you're watching it and it's late night Nats. Everyone loves late night Nats. Actually, I'm not gonna lie here. I'm not a big fan of late night Nats. I'm an early going to bed kind of guy. So last night stunk, if I'm just being honest. I had to stay up till 12:30 whenever that game ended. And of course, it goes in extra innings, which is like, okay, whatever. It's keeping me up. It's like an own little shot of adrenaline watching this team in extra innings. And then, of course, the 10th inning happens, and you're like, oh my God, the Nationals are going to get this win. What a comeback. You're down 3-0. You cut battle back. Joey Meneses is going ham. And then it all just fell apart. So kind of debriefing about the game yesterday. First and foremost, the former San Diego Padres. The guys that the Padres fans wish they still had. C.J. Abrams, 3 hits in yesterday's contest. Unbelievable stretch for him. Now has an 827 OPS on the season. His batting average is way up. He's putting the ball in play. He's not striking out as much. And really, when C.J. Abrams gets on base, we all know what to expect, especially nowadays. The kid's going to run. You saw that in yesterday's contest now. And of course, if you're a Padres fan out there, like I know Hobby, host of Locked On Padres, he talks about it. He sees what C.J. Abrams is doing now. And a lot of Padres fans are upset that that guy is still not in the building. So you have to be lucky that he is in ours. Because again, this is a difference maker every single day. And while he did have that kind of cold stretch back from mid-May all the way through early parts of June, that is in the past at this point. His season numbers have been incredible, and the way that he has kind of gone through this roller coaster of the first half of the season, it's been really cool to see him kind of guide those waters, especially coming off that little cyst on his wrist. And some people weren't really too sure what to expect with it. We all knew it was going to be day-to-day, but after having that weekend in Coors Field, and now this yesterday's game against the Padres, 3 hits at the plate, C.J. Abrams, he's back. Simple as that. So it's nice to see that from C.J. Abrams, of course. But let's talk about Patrick Corbin. Because again, quietly, Patrick Corbin has now had 3 straight quality starts. And yes, you heard that right. 3 straight quality starts. Patrick Corbin While going into yesterday's game, I was thinking, yeah, this guy's not going to give us a chance to win whatsoever. It's a Patrick Corbin start. He's had back-to-back pretty solid starts for his standards. Is he going to do it for a third time in a row? Absolutely not. Well, he did. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, only 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and 0 walks. Again, Patrick Corbin has only had 5 earned runs over his last 3 starts, having 1 earned run over his last 2 before last night's start. Patrick Corbin, since skipping a start, has been pretty damn good. Now, again, with Patrick Corbin, am I going to be expecting this from him going forward? No. We all know what to expect. It's all going to come crashing down to a big fiery burn eventually. This is how it is with Patrick Corbin. But ultimately, that wasn't the story of the game. The story of the game was really what the Nationals did not do. And what they did not do was take advantage of a 3-run lead in the 10th inning. And again, just an unbelievable loss. I'm sure there's people still out there feeling a little groggy from staying out from late night Nats. But of course, if you weren't, I've got the summary for you here. The Nationals, they're down 3-0 early on. Patrick Corbin gives up 3 runs in that second inning. And after that, it was all uphill for him. He smoothed through 7 innings pitched, only 5 hits. Again, Joey Meneses, he has these random outbursts in the most random game that you could ever pick. In San Diego, Joey Meneses, who really just hasn't been Joey Meneses since 2022, we all know what to expect with him. He's kind of in the same category as Patrick Corbin, in my opinion. One of those kind of veterans on this team that the Nationals just simply cannot quit. Well, Joey Meneses, he got the job done yesterday. Right then, he starts off the game 3-1, a ground rule double to make it 3-1, dead center field. It was rocket off the bat. So that was good to see. And then, of course, he goes up top of the 5th inning. RBI single to make it 3-2. And it's like, okay, Joey Meneses is just having one of those games. And then in the top of the 7th, in his very next at-bat, he goes again. Top 7, RBI single, 3-3 ball game. And then things get a little bit tricky from there. Patrick Corbin gets pulled. The bullpen comes in. The bullpen looked pretty damn good, by the way. I mean, let's just say how it is. And then everything just kind of fell off from there. Everything. Every little bit of this Nationals team. All the concerns, all the turmoil that this team has had came to fruition and just hit us right in the face. You go out there, it's 3-3. You battle back from 3-0. The offense wasn't doing much until Joey Meneses steps to the plate, and that was it. You get to extra innings. It's tied game. Keibert Ruiz, top 10, makes it 4-3 with a double. Nick Senzel, a 2-run home run, a massive home run. And again, Nick Senzel has been kind of just one of those inconsistent players so far this season where you have him hitting for power. You have Nick Senzel playing solid defensively over at third base. And then all of a sudden, the rubber hits the road and things don't really pick up from there. So as we kind of talk about this game, I'm not going to lose my voice and scream and yell over it. The Padres are a more talented team. They have been a disappointment so far. But the Nationals, you are in a wild card race at this point. Is it a little bit of fool's gold? Absolutely. This team is not as good as really what their record indicates right now. This is still a young team that's trying to mold and find their identity. But overall, you're going up against Matt Waldron, who, by the way, has been very good this year. A knuckleballer who just is filthy, if we're just being honest. The Nationals couldn't really take advantage of that besides Joey Meneses. Obviously, he likes knuckleballs. I can tell you that right now. He only had 2 earned runs in yesterday's performance. Again, both those coming off Joey Meneses. Matt Waldron, 6 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, 5 hits in total, 2 earned runs in yesterday's game. Now, here's some things about this Nationals team. Because again, I've always kind of wanted the history behind things, like the why and what happened. Well, only 17 times in Nationals history has a player recorded 3 or more hits, 1 or more extra base hit, and 2 or more stolen bases in a single game. After tonight, CJ Abrams now owns 3 of those games more than any other player in Nationals history. Lane Thomas, Trey Turner, and Alfonso Soriano are the only Nationals to do it twice. CJ Abrams, and again, it's relevant speaking going up against the Padres, in which, again, thank you, AJ Preller, for taking that trade. Thank you for giving us James Wood, MacKenzie Gore, and CJ Abrams, 3 future stars in this game. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. We appreciate it as Nationals fans. And of course, The Nats, they are looking up. But ultimately, last night's game has just kind of thrown me in for a loop. Because yesterday's game has been the 2024 Nationals. You get down 3-0. You then tie it up with Joey Meneses, of all people, just coming up, stepping up to the plate, just hitting singles, driving in runs, and it's like, okay, the Nationals are back in this game. You tied it up. You scrapped your way back into this thing. You expect to win. Not really. 3-3 ball game. Go up 6-3, and it's like, all right, you're going to bring in Hunter Harvey, and the Nationals will hopefully close this door. No, it never ends that way for this team. So Hunter Harvey comes in, and the rest is history. 4 runs, Nationals lose. I'm exhausted from that game. What a roller coaster. Well, the Nationals in 2024, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but it's been a fun one, admittedly. So, yesterday was a frustrating game. What frustrates you about the 2024 Nationals? What makes you a little bit upset? What grinds your gears, as Peter Griffin would say? I've got some for you. I'll tell you after we tell you guys about some of our very good friends over at Tax Network USA. And guys, here on Locked On Nationals, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked on. See the link in this episode description below. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked on. Also, let me tell you guys about some of our also very good friends over at SupplyHouse. And guys, get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Now we get back into it, as the Nationals had a very frustrating evening in San Diego. So, what frustrates you the most about this Nationals team? Well, I can tell you this right now. I like to complain. I'm a big complainer. I love it, in fact. So, time to complain. Let's have a little venting hour. What is your venting hour? You can tweet at me at RyanClary11. What frustrates you the most about the Nationals? And again, this is kind of like those personal icks. What makes you upset? It's not really what everybody thinks, but what makes you upset? Well, number one, the way that they have handled Trey Lipscomb. That has been one of my biggest frustrations of 2024. Trey Lipscomb is a promising prospect. He is someone that I want to see play every single day. Well, when he was called up after opening day, when Nick Senzel, right before opening day in Cincinnati, hurts his finger, they call up Trey Lipscomb, and really it made a lot of sense because he was one of the better Nationals hitters and really one of the better Nationals players in all of spring training outside of James Wood. Well, they call him up. He's playing every single day. He's looking pretty good to start the season. Then he kind of falls off a little bit. The Nationals option him, in which that's what you should do. But ever since then, it's just been this yo-yo effect of calling him up, bringing him back down, calling him up, and then just not playing him, having him sit on the bench. Trey Lipscomb is one of those guys where he is still developing. If you are going to be calling up a prospect at this point, someone that you believe could be a part of the future, not will be, but could, you have to play that guy every single day, night in and night out, whether it's in AAA, whether it's in low A, whether it's up in the majors. You have to play this kid. He needs reps. He is still young. He should not be sitting on the bench. You should not just call him up just because you have no one else on there. If you're going to call someone up to sit on the bench, have it be Darren Baker. Have it be someone else, Travis Blankenhorn. I don't know. Anyone else besides Trey Lipscomb. That has been one of my biggest frustrations with this team. He should not be sitting on the bench in any situation whatsoever. This is someone who needs to have 4 at-bats a night, figure himself out at the plate, and play every single day. If he's not going to be doing that up in the majors, then you're going to be doing that in AAA Rochester, and that is where he should be. So I'm glad the Nationals finally did option him because, again, sitting him on the bench is useless. It's useless for his development. You're not playing. You're not getting reps. You're not doing anything. So I'm glad the Nationals finally did option him yesterday, and good for them. Because, again, you just wasted another option. And now Trey Lipscomb hopefully will see some at-bats, figure himself out down in AAA, and then maybe get called up later on in the season. But ultimately, you cannot just continue to yo-yo this guy because that has been a track record of this Nationals team that, in my opinion, has kind of ruined a lot of former top prospects in the system. Also, another situation where it just drives me insane. Hunter Harvey in any save situation. Now, yes, this is a recency bias, but again, this has haunted this team for quite some time now. You have thrown Hunter Harvey out there. You have wanted him to be a closer, and it makes sense. He's got the makeup of it. He's got the 98, 99 mile per hour fastball that he can blow right by you. He looks like a closer. The long hair, the mustache, whatever it is, he's just got that big country feeling to him that you want to see this guy pitch in the 9th or in the 10th and have a save. It doesn't work. For whatever reason, it does not work. Throw Jordan Williams out there. That's a joke. Don't throw Jordan Williams out there. But it's not going to work. It's never going to work. Now, we do have a closer here in town with Kyle Finnegan. And again, I would expect the Nationals to potentially probably trade him at this deadline, considering if Mason Miller becomes available from Oakland. But Hunter Harvey should not be a closer. That's not what he is. It's obviously a comfort thing with him being that setup role guy, and he has been great in that role. Leave him there. Now, again, in yesterday's situation, you had to throw him out there. You can't go with Kyle Finnegan yet again. But also, it's just not going to work, Nationals. And I know if they do, let's say they do trade Kyle Finnegan. I know for a fact they're going to throw out Hunter Harvey in there, and they're going to be like, well, he's going to be our closer. It does not work. It has not worked. We have tried this thing. He looks like a closer. It feels like a closer, but he just is not a closer. You go out there in yesterday's game, you blow it. Now, again, Hunter Harvey has been awesome. I love Hunter Harvey. I love seeing him out there. I love just everything about Hunter Harvey, but he is not a closer. That is one of my biggest frustrations with this team in 2024 and even beyond that, even in 2022 and 2023 as well. He is not a closer. Simple. Another frustration of this Nationals team. We got 3 more left here, so stay with me. The Nationals, you get to 1 game under 500. You're so close. You're a half game back from the wild card spot. You're right there. You're so close to getting that dessert. And then you just have a terrible, awful, just pathetic loss, if we're just being honest. An awful, awful loss. And again, recency bias, absolutely. But how many times this year have the Nationals been 1 game below 500 and we're like, this Nats seems pretty hot, and then they lay an egg? Just a terrible loss in awful fashion, in blow-up epic proportion. The Nationals, that's what they did last night. That is what they have been doing for weeks now. Whether it's the Rockies, whether it's the Twins, whether it's the Padres in last night's game, it does not matter. The Nationals, they go up against a solid team with the Padres, a very loaded, talented system. Then you just lay an egg. You battle back. You get the fans excited. We're almost there. We're so close. And then you do whatever last night was. Not a pretty loss. It was not a good win because the Nationals didn't win. But you get there. You can taste the success. And then you just lay an egg yet again. Another one in yesterday's game, this is a personal one. I start touting Nick Senzel. I tell you guys about how this guy's really turning around, that he is very good, and that the Nationals are actually doing something with Nick Senzel. And then he goes 6 days without a hit. He shoves MacKenzie Gore, literally 6 days without a hit. It's a frustration that I have. This is a personal one. This is not on you guys. This is on me. And again, if you're an everydayer out there, you probably have realized this. I start touting someone. I start telling you about how this guy, this veteran that the Nationals are signing, he's turning it around. He's starting to have a pretty nice little hot stretch here. And then he goes cold. Absolutely cold. Nick Senzel is right along those lines. And by the way, in last night's game, this little tidbit from Elias Sports, in the 10th inning home run was the first home run in an at-bat of 10 pitches or more in extra innings in Nationals history. I thought that was a pretty cool tidbit. And again, it was a very cool moment for Nick Senzel. And that's not really a recency bias because, again, he had that massive home run in last night's game. But Nick Senzel, just a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago even, I was touting him and telling you guys, oh, this guy is turning around. He's having a lot better season than what you expect. He's slugging. He's hitting extra base hits. He's hitting some nice home runs. And then he goes 6 days without a hit. He shoves MacKenzie Gore. The fan base is starting to riot against him because you're shoving your ace. And it was not a pretty look. But again, this is a personal frustration. What frustrates you? My last one, they can't and they will not quit Eddie Rosario. It's over. DFA Eddie. Call up James Wood. That's another frustration. It's over. You're not going to trade Eddie Rosario. If someone trades you for Eddie Rosario at this point, number one, what is that front office doing? And number two, take it. Anything. Even if it's half a baseball, go for it. Trade Eddie Rosario or DFA him. Quit it. It's over. It's not going to happen. This experiment has not worked out. He's one of the only veterans the Nationals have signed this offseason that has just blown up in your face. It is not good. You don't want to watch it. I'm done with Eddie Rosario. That was our venting session. I feel a lot better. How about you? What are your frustrations? Let me know. Tweet at me at RyanClary11 or drop a comment in the YouTube section. I'm exhausted today also. Late Night Nats is not for me. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Now, let me tell you guys about tonight's game with the Padres and the Nationals, as you have MacKenzie Gore on the bump against his former team. We'll have that for you. But let me tell you guys about our friends over at PrizePicks. And guys, PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. And of course, you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And with the finals over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball is still heating up with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Breanna Stewart and Aja Wilson. You can win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. And of course, PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including the big ones, California, Texas, Georgia, and of course, Virginia, my home state. So with PrizePicks, maybe you want to go more or less on Caitlin Clark points in tonight's game, or Aja Wilson. You can go less on her as well. I wouldn't do that. They have both been so good this season. So that's what I will do. And of course, I love it. So all you have to do is download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Now we get back into it as the Nationals are here in San Diego, not where I am. I wish I was in San Diego. As you saw the weather, it was like 80 degrees yesterday, a nice little breeze. I wish I was in San Diego, but no, we are here in the mid-90s in Washington, D.C., and it is a hot one out here. Speaking of hot, MacKenzie Gore. Over his last 2 starts, MacKenzie Gore really has not been good. Or really his last 1 start, in my opinion. That was not a good start his last time out. MacKenzie Gore has not had back-to-back bad starts this season in 2024. So I feel very good about what he's going to do in tonight's ball game. If you look back in last year in San Diego when he pitched against his former team, midsummer, I think mid-July of last year when they took the trip to San Diego, MacKenzie Gore went 5 innings pitched, struck out around 7 batters, looked really good against his former team. I expect that again in tonight's contest. Again, coming off a pretty poor start for his standards, one of the worst starts of his season, in fact, giving up 10 hits in a short period of time. He's going up against Adam Mazur, a second-round pick in 2022, a top 5 prospect in the Padres system, but ultimately this season has not been a difference maker whatsoever for him. It was supposed to be Yu Darvish in tonight's game, but it's going to be this second-rounder in 2022, a 23-year-old. MacKenzie Gore, this has bounce back written all over it. Number one, the Nationals, the way that you lost in yesterday's game, you better have a nice little bounce back because, again, we joked about it. It was whatever. The Nationals, you are the worse team than the Padres. Unfortunately, this is a more talented baseball team from top to bottom. You have guys like Manny Machado who are really struggling so far in the season, but this Nationals team, they're scrappy. They find ways to win. MacKenzie Gore is on the bump tonight. You've got Kyle Finnegan coming back. He's going to be here in a save situation. Hunter Harvey, he's probably not going to pitch tonight. I don't know at this point. The Nationals really don't seem to care all too much about his usage at this point, but you got MacKenzie Gore. You need a win. You feel pretty good about it, don't you? I would as well. So maybe the Nationals get back on track tonight, but ultimately, we'll just have to see where this thing goes. So not that fun of an episode today. Frustrating. We're tired. Late night Nats. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for me. But ultimately, the Nationals, you got MacKenzie Gore tonight. Let's get a win. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.